Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 9-4, Descriptive Statistics. In this lesson we will continue to address the question, how are patterns used when comparing two quantities? And we will use the vocabulary univariate data, quantitative data, and 5-number summary. Recall that measures of center represent the middle of the data. So when we talk about measures of center, we are talking about words that help us identify the middle of any given data. The most common measures of center are mean, which is the average, median, which is the middle number, and mode, the most repeated number in a set of data. And here's a real-world example. The data in the table represents the results of a survey about distance driven over spring break. Does the mean or the median best represent the data? So this is where we start to decide, does the average or does the middle number best represent the information? So here we have distance driven over spring break in miles, okay, and we have this entire set of number. I guess we collected data from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So 5 rows of 5 by 10 by 2 is 10. So which one would represent the best? Now again, let's recall what these numbers mean, and this is important for this lesson, so please follow along. When we look at this data, we see that most numbers range between the 200s and the 300s, and then we have one outlier right there, okay, at 749. If we were to look for the mean, which is the average, we would have to add all of these values. So find the sum of all these values and then divide it by the number of numbers or the number of values. So we would add them all and divide it by 10. But that's gonna throw off our average because we have one outlier. If we only had numbers that ranged between 300 and 200, then I guess the average would make sense. But this number right here is going to throw off our data, and our average will be higher than it really should be, if you know what I mean. If we find the median, remember, to find the median, we organize all of these numbers from least to greatest, and we cross them off, one on each side, until we end up with a number right in the middle, right? So for this example, the median best represents the data. And again, the mean, when you add all 10 values together and divide it by 10, the mean is 317. And the median is 285. The median is a better representation because there is one significantly large number that increased the mean, being this one right here. So the median would be the better number. That analysis, boys and girls, is something we will be doing in this lesson. We have to look at information and analyze it. Now here, let's get familiar with measures of center and variability. Data with one variable, such as test scores, are univariate data. Uni meaning one, and variate meaning a variable or a number that changes, data. So only one variable. Univariate data. These data can be described by a measure of center. And here's what we mean by that. So we have just one set of information, one set of data. And in this regard, I guess we have ages. The ages in years of the people seated in one row of a movie theater are 16, 15, 24, 33, 30, 56, 19, and 19. Find the mean, median, and mode. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. Recall that mean is the average, median is the middle number, mode is the number repeated the most, and the range is the difference between the lowest number and the highest number. So the mean, again, you add up all the numbers divided by the number of numbers. So we see that there was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we divided by 8. And that gives us an average of 26.5. The median, we organize the numbers from least to greatest and we cross them out one by one like so. Okay, we would cross them out one by one, as you see here. Cross that one and cross that one. That one and that one. That one and that one. And then you're left with these two. And you find the average of these two, which is the middle number, essentially. You add the two numbers together, and then you divide it by 2, and that's going to give you 21 and a half. Okay? So we have an average of 26 and a half years, or a median of 21 and a half years. The mode is the most repeated number, and that is clearly 19. It's the only one that I noticed that repeated itself. And then finally, the range is the difference between the highest value and the lowest value, which is 41 years. From the youngest person to the oldest person in the theater, there's a difference of 41 years. So now we get to try it. We have the data here on the right, and we have to find the mean, median, mode, and the range. So let's start with the mean. We first find the sum of all 15 values, and we divide them by 15. So our next line will look like this. The sum of all 15 values is of 1020. That is the sum of all 15 values and divided by 15. And that's going to give us a mean of 68. So that is the average right there. And now, please copy this down if you don't have it down. Obviously, you'll need a calculator for this unless you really want to practice your mental math, which I'm sure you can do it mentally if you want to, but it's just faster with the calculator. We're not testing your adding abilities. We are practicing finding the mean, median, and average. So a calculator is fine. Now let's find the median. For the median, we're going to take all these numbers and arrange them from least to greatest. And when I organize them from least to greatest, I get the lowest number being 60 and the highest number being 74. And what I'm going to do is just cross them down the line as I go, where I will cross 60 first, 74, 62, 73, 64, 72, 65, 72, 66, 71, 66 again, 70, 67, 70, and that leaves me with 68 as my median. So we go ahead and we make note that our median is 68. And for our mode should be pretty easy to identify. You can have more than one mode depending on the numbers that repeat themselves. I can see already that 66 repeats itself there and there, as well as 70 right there and right there, as well as 72, right? Yep, 72. So we can say our mode is, or I should say are, 66, 70, and 72. And finally, to look for our range, it is the difference between the highest number and the lowest number. Our highest number, if I'm not mistaken, is 74. So we write 74 minus our lowest number, which is 60, and that's going to give us 14. So our range is 14. And don't forget, I erased it, but our mean was 68, similar as to the median. Okay. Now let's look at what quantitative data is and what a quartile is. Quantitative data are data that can be measured because it's quantitative, it can be counted. A set of quantitative data can be divided into 4 equal parts called quartiles. So here you have a set of data organized from least to greatest. You have a lower half, the middle, median, and the upper half. The median of the data values less than the medians is called the first quartile, or quarter one. So the median of the data of the lower half, right here, the median is the middle number. This is going to separate it into quarters. So this is quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. So the median of the data values greater than the median is called the third quartile. So you have the first quartile, the median, which is the half, the third quartile, or quarter three, and then your full range, or highest value. When we break data down into sections like that, we call it the 5-number summary. It includes the minimum value, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum value of a data set. It provides a numerical way of characterizing a set of data. The 5-number summary can be described visually with a box plot as shown below. So again, we have our set of data organized from least to greatest, and then we have our minimum value, our maximum value, and then we break them down into quarter 1, halfway, which is the median, quarter 3, maximum, or quartile 1, quartile 3. And then we can break it down into percentages. So we have the first 25%, the second 25%, the third 25%, and the top 25% of the data. If we were talking about ages, we can say the top 25% of the participants range from the ages of 46 to 54, or so on. Here's another example which I will go over quickly. We have temperatures, okay, and the temperature is broken down from 68 to 76. We list our minimum, our first quartile, our median, our third quartile, and our maximum, okay? And what we're being asked to do here is to draw a box plot of the data. So to do that, you can see here we have step 1. We draw a number line that includes the least and the greatest numbers in the data in order. Okay, we have in step 2, we mark the minimum and maximum values, the median, and the first and third quartiles above the number line. As you can see here, our lowest number is 68, while our highest number is 76. And we do have 76 repeated 3 times, 75 repeated 4 times, 74 being our median. And then we just draw a number line with the numbers in perfect sequence without skipping any numbers from 66, 67, and increasing by 1 each time up to 78, right? And then when we actually mark it on here, remember, we've identified our minimum as 68, so we mark our minimum. Our first quartile is 71, we mark our first quartile. Our median is 74, right there. Our third quartile, 75, and our maximum, 76, even though we marked it up to 78, but that's really just to show reference and continuity. This is the data that we need. And then for the third step, we're going to draw I don't know why I drew a period there. Let me just erase that. No, I can't. No, it won't erase. Never mind. We draw the box plot and assign a title to the graph. So the title is daily temperatures, as we already know, and then we draw a box plot. And the box plot has our minimum, our maximum, a line that extends to the first quartile, the third quartile, and then the median in the middle. This almost looks like what they use in stocks as a candlestick, but these you'll find them in stocks vertically. And it's used to represent data, and essentially the cluster of data being right here in the middle. Okay, now we get to try it on our own. If you'd like to try this by yourself and then check your answer, this would be a good time to pause the video. So pause now. Okay, if you've paused the video and now you're ready to check, let's get to it. The points scored by a basketball team are shown in the table. Find the 5-number summary of the data. Okay, we have to first put them in order, so I will do that right here from least to greatest. And I see that my lowest number is 20, my highest number is 83, or what we say this is my minimum, and my maximum seems like a bit of an outlier. It's really far away from the main, I guess, the core of the data. Here we have about a 24 range, and then this one, there's almost 24 just between these two numbers. So this one's really far out there. So let's see, here we have my minimum. I will write min there. I will write my maximum here, right? Max. And then my median, which will be right in the middle. If I have 9 numbers, okay, it's going to be right in the middle of 4.5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then counting from the other direction, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 36 would be considered my median. Okay, median, I'll just put MED. And then I can start deciding what my quartiles are. I see that for my first quartile, okay, since I have to go 4 numbers on this side and I have 4 numbers on this side, that means a quarter would be every 2, so 2, so it'll be right in here. Sorry for the mess, I don't have a lot of room to write in, but I will write 34.5 is my quarter 1, and over here it's between 40 and 44, which would be then 42 is my quartile 3, right? I'm doing this to help you make sense of the information. I hope you got this information: your minimum 20, your first quartile 34.5, your median 36, your third quartile 42, with the maximum of 83. Right? Now that you have that information, we can start plotting. They want us to first plot our lowest number, which is right here at 20, right? And then our first quartile, which is 34.5, will be just before the 35, right there. And then we have our median, which is 36, right next to it, right? And then we have our third quartile at 42, so just between that 40 and 45. And then our highest or maximum value way over here at 83. And if we draw a box, it's going to look like this. Something like that. This is not my best ability, but you can see here where we have our minimum, our first quartile, our median, our third quartile, and our maximum. Okay, everyone, I hope this lesson made sense to you. I hope you are ready then to practice together through the guided practice. See you in class.